All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Zach Davis. Appreciate you joining me. Started the book of Esther today. Received really a pretty awesome response from all those who were in the class. Probably had about 35 in our Sunday school class this morning, and it was just a really good time. I think seeing some of these connections are really interesting, super um, relevant to, I think, practical application, but also relevant to the Bible story. And really, I spent a lot of time connecting things to the New Testament in the book of Esther, a lot of typology and stuff that really carried straight across the board. So I just wanted to invite you guys. I'm going to do a early release for all members on Patreon and YouTube, and I wanted to invite you guys to become a member of any dollar amount on either one of those, and you'll have access to those. I don't know if it'll be a week, 2 weeks. There'll be some stretches here. I'm going to Virginia in a few weeks, so I won't be teaching that week. There'll at least be a 1 week gap. But for these first 2 weeks, they'll be up pretty quick. And if you guys want early access to those and like what's going on here, then please like and subscribe and support for the early access. And just appreciate you guys and all that you're doing. Thought I'd give you just a little touch about some of the stuff we mentioned. And it starts out with a king named Ahasuerus who has a wife named Vashti, and she does him wrong. And essentially, he needs some counsel. So what he does, he goes to his counseling elders, his I don't know what you want to call it, but whatever it is, there's 7 of them. And in verse 13 it says, "The king said to the wise men who understood the times," those who had understanding, these who were wise, walking in the way of the Lord according to what it was. "For this was the king's manner toward all who knew law and justice, those who were upright." These are upright standing men. "The closest to him being Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Memucan, 7 princes of Persia who had access to the king's presence." And if you look down in verse 16, it says that Memucan answered before the king and the princes. The note I want to make is that the name Memucan means worthy. He was one who was found worthy. And really, the idea of worthy comes up a lot in the New Testament. It's those who are walking according to what they know is right. So Ahasuerus here in Esther 1 is going to take Memucan's advice, and I'll leave it alone there in Esther. And if you want to see more of this, then sign up tomorrow or the next day whenever it releases. But I want to discuss a little bit about the idea of worthy just for a second. The Apostle Paul wrote of it, and he said, "I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you to walk worthy of the calling with which you were called." And that gives us the same idea of Memucan, knowing law and justice and ruling in order in that idea. And I would make the case that even like in Ephesians 2, that those who know Christ have been raised up and seated in heavenly places and are with that council, that it's those who are in that council that are are called to rule and order and serve and advise in such a way. What's interesting is that you see in the book of Revelation, you see 7 churches, number one, just like Ahasuerus had 7 ruling people on his council. Travis pointed this part out, by the way, so shout out to Travis. This wasn't me. When you get to the book of Revelation, you see those 7 churches who are those stars who are raised up and seated in the ruling places. That's the picture. And with one of them, you see something that's pretty interesting. And it's to the angel of the church of Sardis, write, "These things says he who has the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know your works and that you have a name that you are alive, but you're dead. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found your works perfect before God. Remember, therefore, how you received and heard, hold fast and repent." So those who weren't walking worthy. "Therefore, if you will not watch, I will come upon you as a thief. You will not know what hour I will come upon you. You have a few names, even in Sardis, who have not defiled my garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy." The idea of worthy is everywhere. We need more Memucans in the kingdom. So hope you'll stay tuned with our Esther series, just like you guys did with Hebrews. If you don't want to sign up early, they'll be released eventually to the public. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to learning all throughout the process as we go through it. You know, you read through the book, but it's really when you stop on the weeks, when you're in certain texts and have to dig through it, that everything really becomes pretty plain, and you get a greater understanding of it. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully you guys will join us for the ride here in the book of Esther.